Hi guys, welcome back to Nyx Reads. Thank you so much for watching. This is where I talk about books about once a week, so feel free to subscribe if you love watching bookish content, and give this video a thumbs up please if you enjoy watching book hauls, so I know. As you can see, I decided to turn around the camera a bit, and I figured since I have my tree up already, might as well use it as a cute background. Today I have my last book haul for the year. I went to a library sale a few weeks ago, and I also have some pre-orders that I got of new releases, and I just wanted to share them with you. Some of these are intended for some nice cozy reading during my short Christmas break, so I'm excited to dig into these. I'm gonna start with some cool library book sale buys. So I got these for very little money, as little as $1 up to, I think it was $3. The first book is honestly a steal. So I got Brisingr by Christopher Paolini. This is the third book in the Aragon series. As you can see, it's a hardcover. It looks like it has never been read. And I got this for $3 when it used to retail for 32 Canadian dollars before taxes, and this is from, I don't know, like 10 years ago, so with inflation this would be probably close to $40, and I got it for $3. This is technically not going on my need to read stack because I've already read this book in German when I was a teenager. It's one of my most favorite fantasy series out there. But you'll see in a minute why I got this, because there's a chance that I might want to reread the entire series. The next book was clearly in the library rotation, but since then has been sorted out. It's Wild by Cheryl Strayed. This is a memoir that I've seen floating around BookTube for a few years now. There's a movie with Reese Witherspoon as the main character, as Cheryl Strayed, that was made a few years ago. And I've only heard pretty good things about this, and I love travel memoirs or memoirs in general. So this is giving Eat, Pray, Love, because this is about a woman, so Cheryl Strayed, who tries to find herself while hiking after her mother's death and after her marriage falls apart. And we follow her during that very difficult time. So honestly, I'm very excited to read this. I love any kind of memoir, and I might keep this for next year's nonfiction November, unless I get to it earlier, but for sure next year this one is going to be read. Next up, for $2, I found another hardcover book that was on my TBR for a while now. It's The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu, and it's translated by Ken Liu. This is a sci-fi book, and I think it's first contact with aliens. I don't know too much about this, and I want to go into this pretty blindly especially because it is sci-fi. But I've heard this on a lot of favorites lists from people who read a lot of sci-fi. And apparently the way that they approach this contact with aliens or whatever it is apparently very clever and kind of unique. So I'm excited to dig into this one. And for some reason I thought this is going to be a much bigger book, but it's actually under 400 pages. For some reason I thought this is like a 700 page book. The last book from the library sale was a complete impulse buy. So whenever I go to library sales these days, I'm very careful about what I'm picking up, because I have so many unread books already, and there was a few more books that I would have liked to take, but I tried to restrict myself to books that are potentially going to be read within the next year or the next few months, so because I don't want them sitting around for too long. So this one was a complete impulse buy though. So it's Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson, and I've never heard of this title before, and for some reason I thought this is quite old, because I think it's because they put this foil on it. It makes it look like this is from the 2000s. It looks pretty old, but I think this is a new release. I have since then noticed that this was on the Goodreads Choice Awards for 2003 on the long list. So yeah, I don't know why I've never heard about this book before. It has mixed reviews, I think, on Goodreads. I tried not to look too closely. When I looked at one of the quotes here on the book jacket, it said, "A cancel all plans kind of book, utterly addicting, big-hearted, and affecting." So for me, cancel all plans kind of book means, okay, I'm gonna binge read this within a day or two. So that caught my eye. And then when I looked at the other praises on the back cover, which usually I don't pay that much attention to. So one is by Kevin Kwan, who wrote Crazy Rich Asians, which I loved that series and loved the movie. He says, "Truly the smartest and most deliciously fun novel I've read in ages." And then also I see Nita Prose, who wrote The Maid, which that book I love as well, is saying a sharp and juicy satire. So just based on these quotes, I picked this book up, which is new for me because I usually never do that. So I hope I won't dislike it because yeah, I've seen mixed reviews at this point, but yeah, I'm going into this with no expectations. So I hope I will enjoy this. Sounds to me like a nice light summer read. Next up, I went to Village des Valeurs, which is like Value Village. So I found this used book for, it was $2.99. So it's the first Harry Potter. So in French, it's Harry Potter à l'école des sorciers. This is specifically for my project next year of reading one book in French, because I haven't done that since I was in school. And this one does not have any vocabulary help. It's just a regular book. And the reason I picked this is because I've read this so many times in both English and German that I feel like even if there's vocabulary that I don't know, it won't stop me from reading this in a good flow and it won't discourage me. So I read the first paragraph already, and also because I know this paragraph so well, I perfectly understood it. So that's why this is my French pick for next year. The last 3 books are all new releases from November. And I got these from Indigo, but I got them with a 30% discount because again, full price books, so expensive. So the first one is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I have an entire vlog up about how weirdly obsessed I got with Fourth Wing, you know, that book that everybody and their mother is talking about on Fourth Wing. I was so surprised to hear by so many people in real life that they read that book and loved it as well. So anyways, I didn't 100% like that book objectively. I mean, it has so many faults, but I had so much fun with it, and I had right away ordered the next copy after I finished the first one in summer, and it was shipped to me. It has the black edges, the cover is beautiful, and oops, oh, it came with a bookmark as well. In fact, last month I even went to the Iron Flame midnight release party at one of my bookstores, which I've never done before. So they closed the bookshop, and then around 10:30 p.m. a bunch of us started lining up to get into the bookstore, and there were like a few like fun games and scavenger hunts and things like that in time for the release, where I also got this this toad from. It says, "I earned my dragon in Basquiat." If you read Fourth Wing, you know what this means. Next up is another dragon related book, and it is Murtagh by Christopher Paolini. How do you say this name? I say Murtagh, not sure. Anyways, so this is a new installment in the Aragon series, and you cannot believe how surprised and shocked and happy I was to see that the author returned to this world like 10+ years later. So these were the first 4 books, and as you know, I just showed you the 3rd book earlier, so now you know why I'm thinking about rereading the entire series, because he came out with the 5th. And it looks like you can start the series just by this book, or if you want, you can start from the top with Aragon, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this book, and then if I feel like it, I might just read Aragon from the top afterwards. I'm really excited. This was one of my favorite fantasy series, and I just, fingers crossed that it's gonna live up to my expectations, because for this one, obviously I have high expectations, but I don't know if I'm gonna love it as much as I did when I was a teenager, but I'm so hopeful and I'm very excited. Isn't it funny though that this book came out the same day as Iron Flame? They're both dragon books, and they are so similar in cover design. I don't know if that was on purpose, but yeah, pretty cool. I just realized I didn't talk about what these 2 book series are about. So in Aragon finds one of the last ever dragon eggs. It hatches, and from there he has to go and try to save the world. Very briefly described. And in Fourth Wing, we have Violet, who trains to be a dragon rider as well. So like same thing but different, but this is a romantasy, Aragon is not. And the last book I want to show you guys is also a sequel. It's The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose, and I even snagged a signed copy. Isn't that cool? The first book, The Maid by Nita Prose, I have a review up on my channel, which for some reason got a lot of views, so you might have found this channel actually through that video, so thank you. I have a review up on that. I love that so much. The protagonist, Molly the Maid, is one of my favorite characters. I got so excited when I heard that there's a second book coming out because I wanted to read more about Molly the Maid. Once again, I want to go into this pretty blindly, so I'm on purpose not reading the details from the summary of this, but the first book is essentially about Molly the Maid, who works at the Grand Regency Hotel, and she gets involved in a murder investigation. This one even says in the back it includes a bonus story inside, which is great because, again, I really love that character. I wanted to spend more time with her. And this one even got a quote from Stephen King. It says, "Excellent and totally entertaining, the most interesting and endearing main character in a long time." That's big praise coming from a big author. So those were all the books from my last book haul of the year. Out of these 3 new releases that I got, I do not know which one I should dive in first because I'm picturing myself reading these during my break and being so cozy. I'm genuinely excited about all 3 of these. Let me know with which book you think I should start. And if you've watched this far into the video, then why don't you leave me a key emoji if you want to let me know that you're still watching. Don't forget to let me know if there's any books you bought last minute before the holiday break. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy watching book hauls, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.